All right, let's take a look at the three models that have gotten me the most downloads on MakerWorld here. Starting with the watering can, and we'll jump into Fusion360 here. We've got a new file open. We'll start a sketch on the base plane here. We're going to start with a circle, and I'm going to make it this is slightly arbitrary, it just depends how big you want your watering can to be. We're going to make it a little bit smaller on this one, 100 millimeters. And I can finish the sketch. Now I want to make a offset plane, starting from the same plane as the previous one. And we'll go 100 at the base, and we'll go up by 90. That looks good. And I want to create sketch. Another circle. Make this guy, make it about 80, I think. And now we've got our two sketches that represent the main body of the watering can. We can create a loft between the two circles and hit OK. Now we can try and create the spout. For the spout, you could use a couple different features. You could use a classic extrude from a offset plane, or you could do a revolve, redraw the revolve profile from the side and then revolve it. Or for me, I think I'm going to do a sweep from the top. So I'm going to make another sketch at the top here, and then I'm going to make a circle as the end of the spout. And I want to make that horizontally fixed with the other circle. And then we can give this a dimension and give that 10 millimeters. That looks too small. We'll go to 15. I like the look of that better. And we can give it a distance from the center. I like where it's sitting right now. Maybe a little bit shorter. Go 80. Let's increase that to 110. That's too much. I overshot it. Let's go back to 90. That looks good to me. And so we can finish that sketch. And now we can make another sketch from this side profile. And it'll be a line. And I want it to be coincident with that circle that we made earlier. And I don't really care where this other end lands as long as it's within the main body of the watering can. So we're going to let it float somewhere around here and call that sketch finished. And now I want to create a sweep, and it's going to be this profile here. The path is going to be our straight line, and you can see that that creates a spout shape. And I'm going to hit enter. Oh, I made a cut by accident, so we're going to go in and modify. So edit feature, and we want this to be a join. So now it's going to create that as a solid body instead of the cut feature. Do OK. I want this base piece to intersect closer to the bottom, so I'm going to jump back into my line sketch and edit that to be a little closer to the bottom. Finish sketch. And that doesn't quite go far enough, so I'm going to have to pull it out just a little bit further. And we'll finish. And that looks better. So that looks pretty good to me. Before we put a handle on, we want to shell. So we'll shell these two. And I'm getting ahead of myself. I actually want to fillet this juncture here just to add a little bit of strength to the spout where it joins the main body. And 2.5 is probably all right. And that. Now we can do a shell. So we'll shell these two. 1 millimeter. So now we have 1 millimeter walls throughout the entire geometry. We have a base, opening at the spout, opening at the main body of the watering can. And now we can draw our handle. So we'll create another sketch on this plane here. And I might just draw this one simpler than I did the last one. And I can draw 2 circles. There we go, finish. And I'll extrude. And I want it to go in both directions. I want it to go by about 5. And I did the same thing again where I made it a cut by accident. So I need to edit the feature. I need to join. And so now I can look at that thickness of the handle and think, yeah, that looks all right. And I can approve that with OK. So now we still have an issue where there's that ring on the inside. So I want to modify and I want to split. So I need to go back to this extrude feature, edit it to be a new body. So now that just means that this ring and the rest of our watering can are 2 separate bodies at the moment. And I want to split the bodies. So I want to split this guy and I want to choose this tool to do it. Okay. So I've done the split and now I want to remove the portion that's inside the watering can and I can do OK. And so now we take a look around and that looks all right. I want to join these two because they're currently still separate parts. So I can do a combine. Okay. And now you can see that they are the same part. And you can see our bodies. We only have one body. So that looks good. And then the last thing I can do is add some fillets to the handle here to make it look a little nicer. Just making sure that I get all of the edges that I want. And 2.5 looks good again there. So we'll hit enter. And that's my watering can. Now you can save that out. I'll call this watering can. So I've saved this part and now I can export it if I want to use it anywhere else, like in Bambu Labs. I've liked recently exporting everything as a step file. I find that that just works a little bit better and doesn't lose as much of the detail when I bring it into Bambu Labs. But you could also export it as an STL and bring that into your slicer also. So that's the watering can. The second one on the list is this toothpaste squeezer. That's a super straightforward model here. So we do a sketch. We have a little circle as our little thumb grip. This doesn't have to be very big, 15 millimeters. And then there is a opening for the toothpaste. And I believe this was 2 millimeters, but you can take some calipers and you can measure how large toothpaste is and make that your deciding factor. And then also measure the width. And I think for this one, I was at about 60. So we'll do 60. And then we'll make a line that is a center line type. I'll put it here. And we'll make it a midpoint so that now these are aligned at their centers. And we can draw the portions that go around it. I'm going to do another circle here. Make another center line, I guess. I'm still getting used to the Fusion360 transition from SolidWorks. So all of the commands don't always come super naturally to me, but we'll get there in the end. And so I'm basically wanting to make that tangent, which I just did. And I probably want a trim feature here. Actually, we're just going to go and make a line all the way through the middle. I only wanted to sketch the 1/2, and then I can make a mirror once I extrude this. So I can trim. I can trim away everything that I don't need. That looks like the profile that we want. And so I can finish that sketch. I can extrude. And I choose all the profiles I want. I only have to go out by, I think, 5 mil is probably fine. Extruded by 5 mils. And I want to mirror this to get the other half of this part. So that's the body. The mirror plane, it's going to be its own side there profile. That looks good to me. Enter. That's the basic shape. And then we can add some fillets to make it easier to get the toothpaste into the slot and to just make the overall piece look a little bit better. So that's one. I think that looks pretty good. And we can add this face too. One. And I forgot to do the fillets on these corners, so I'll just roll back those fillets and I'll make some new ones here. And this is strictly an aesthetic choice. I just like the rounded look, and I always try and avoid doing any fillets in the sketches. So that's why I left those as sharp corners in the sketch and then did an extrude and then did a fillet. It just makes for a more robust model that's easier to edit in the future. So I'll hit enter here and then I will roll forward to add those other fillets back on. And this is a finished part. So I'd print that out and then make sure that it fits onto toothpaste, and then I would post it basically. So that's 2 out of 3 done. Let's look at our third and final part, which is the Christmas tree topper. Right, so now we're going to do the Christmas tree topper. We can do a sketch. We'll do the side profile here. So I'm going to add a polygon, and we're going to make it have 5 sides. So a pentagon, and I want want the flat to face up because that's where one of the points is going to face. And I will give it a dimension of 50 millimeters. After that, I'm going to add a bunch of lines. And this is one of those times where I'm not sure if this is the perfect way to do this or the most efficient way, but it's a way that I know is going to work, or at least that I, when I initially did this, thought was going to work. So I just kind of muscled through it and just tried to see if it would be the way to go. And it worked for me, so I just kept going. But you'll probably run into this where you have an idea of how something should work or might work, but you don't know if it's the right way to do something. And I think in most of those cases, you may as well just try and do that. And then if it doesn't work out, then you can go look up a better solution. And even if you try it and it does work, you can still, oh, I got an error because I overdefined, I believe. You can go back once you've made it successful, then you can go find the better way to do it and learn something from it. But if it worked and you're happy with the results, then there's no reason to really go do that other than for your own learning, which is always good. But there we go. We have a star, and it's fully defined with all those collinear relationships and the dimension of the initial pentagon. And so I can finish this sketch. Now I want to make a offset plane. I'm going to offset from that center here. And I know that I want to be about 30 mils offset. And now I want to make a sketch. And I'm sketching on that new plane I made and do a point in the middle. And I can finish that. So you can see I have a point sitting out in space and the initial star shape. And from there, I want to make a loft. So I want to loft all of the star. And I want to make the second profile the dot, point in space. And you can see how all those surfaces come together and meet on that point, make those sharp edges. And that looks like a star. And so I'm happy with that. I'm gonna hit enter. But it's only 1/2 of the star. So we're gonna hit a mirror here. Mirror that body. The plane is itself. And now we have a completed star. And I can hit enter. So that's the star, but now we need a way to put it on the tree. And to do that, we're going to create a base. So, oh, I've created a sketch on the wrong plane. I actually want to finish the sketch. Or no, I want to delete that. I didn't want a sketch there. I want to create a offset plane from that base there. Bring it down to about where I want the base to start, which we're going to call there 130. And I want to sketch on it. Make a circle. And we'll call that, yeah, we'll call that 150. $150 is good. I'm happy with that. And I can make another. Well, actually, I can just do a new sketch. I could make an offset plane. But I'm going to just do a circle here on that mid plane. Make it pretty small. Give it a dimension 20. Finish. So I'm going to make a loft between this bottom circle and this middle circle, and I'm going to change the visibility on the body to make it easier to click on this profile and that profile and create a new body is what I want. So if I see those, okay, no, let's cut. I want to join these two, do okay. So now I can look at this and think, well, is that the look I'm going for? Not really. It seems a bit fat on the bottom there, so I'm going to change that profile. Maybe go all the way down to 100 instead of 150. Hit enter to finish that sketch. That's a bit closer to what I'm looking for. And now I can do a shell for 1 millimeter. And now the tree can go into that hole. And this model is hollow. And that does it for the 3 most downloaded parts that are on my MakerWorld profile. And I hope you learned something for Fusion 360. I'm still getting the hang of switching from SolidWorks. So let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.